If you have been working on your habits and you had a blip, I want you to hear this first. You did not fail. You are practicing change. Welcome to Walk the Queen's Way. I'm Karrie Miller, Master Transformational Healing Coach. I help women break free from emotional eating so weight loss becomes sustainable without dieting. Today we are talking about what to do after a blip, a slip, or a moment where you feel like you fell off the wagon. Because what most women do after a blip is not neutral. They punish themselves. They shame themselves. They make it mean something about who they are. And that reaction is what turns one moment into a spiral. So I want to give you a process that keeps you moving forward without starting over. Here is the truth. Healing and habit change are a practice of interrupting the old to create the new. That means you're going to have moments where the old pattern shows up. The goal is not to pretend that will never happen. The goal is to learn how to catch it earlier and come back to yourself faster. You cannot change what you are not aware of. And awareness is not scary. Awareness is simply the light turning on. So instead of asking, what is wrong with me? We ask a better question. What caused this? That question is power. Because if you can name what caused it, you can recognize it sooner next time. You can stop it before it gets to that point. You can catch yourself before you fall. Here is the process I want you to use. I call it the 4R reset. Reflect, refine, refocus, recommit. First, reflect. What happened without judgment? What was I feeling? What was I doing? Who was I with? What were the circumstances? This is not you beating yourself up. This is you learning your pattern. Second, refine. Now that you know the setup, what will you change next time? If I do not do this, I will not do that. If I feel this, I will try this instead. If I am with this person, I will plan for this trigger. Refine is strategy. Refining is leadership. Third, refocus. What do I need right now? Because emotional eating is often a nervous system relief strategy. If you are depleted, overwhelmed, lonely, or stressed, your brain will reach for quick relief. So refocus on meeting one real need: comfort, rest, reassurance, connection, or relief. Then recommit. Not to perfection, not to punishment, not to restriction tomorrow. Recommit to one next best choice today. This is how you break the shame cycle. And I want to say this clearly: shame does not create sustainable change. Shame often fuels the need to self-soothe, which keeps emotional eating going. Compassion creates safety. Safety creates choice. Choice creates change. Here is a simple reset statement you can use right after a blip. Something was hard. I am learning. I am safe. Next best choice. Now, I also want to give you a practical pattern interrupt, because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is change the setup. If your overeating happens in the same place, at the same time, with the same routine, consider changing the environment. One of my favorite interrupts is rearranging your furniture. Your brain expects the old cue. When the room changes, your brain pauses, and that pause gives you choice again. You do not have to fight the habit as much when you interrupt the setup. So this week, if you have a blip, I want you to do two things. Use the 4R reset and choose one pattern interrupt that changes the cue. That is how you stop starting over Monday. That is how emotional eating recovery becomes real life. That is how weight loss becomes sustainable without dieting. If you want support with your 4R prompts and your personal trigger map, I offer free discovery calls. DM me the word call and I will send you the link. And before you go, repeat this with me. I give myself grace. I get curious. I choose my next best step. I'll see you in the next episode of Walk the Queen's Way. YouTube title: Reflect, Refine, Refocus, Recommit, Stop the Shame Spiral After Overeating. Walk the Queen's Way. YouTube description: co/io, copy/paste. If you overeat and then spiral into food guilt, shame, and I'll start over Monday, this episode is for you. In today's Walk the Queen's Way, Karrie Miller, Master Transformational Healing Coach, teaches the 4R reset: reflect, refine, refocus, recommit. This simple process helps you break the shame cycle after a blip, stop emotional overeating, and build self-trust so weight loss becomes sustainable without dieting. In this episode, you'll learn what to do after you overeat without punishing yourself, why shame fuels emotional eating and food guilt, the 4R reset to identify triggers and prevent the next spiral, how to use pattern interrupts like changing your environment to break habit loops, how to stop overeating at night and return to calm faster. Ready for support? DM call for a free discovery call link.